Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Wil. We are going to get back a little bit about the entrepreneurship theme, and we're going to talk about how to bootstrap. And actually, going to hear firsthand from our co-host and friend Nick Menard on how he's been bootstrapping with his business. But before we get into that, please be sure to share, subscribe, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. And also want to give a shout out to the nickmenard.com and the 1% Push, as well as his Amazon best-selling book, Mindset is My Degree, for sponsoring today's episode. Happy Monday, Nick.
Hello, Will. Hello, winners. How you all doing?
Let's go. So, sometimes people, and we talked about this when we had that series going for the entrepreneurship, sometimes people think of things of why they shouldn't start. And one of those things is, to start a business, it's going to take a lot of money, or I've got to spend a lot on marketing and things like that. And, you've known your travel agency now for over 3 years. And I think in the total in 3 years you spent on advertising is 3 digits. Right? Yeah. You haven't even spent over $1,000 total in advertising, but yet your agency has exponentially grown, and you're on track to having your best year ever, and not spending money on advertising to attract that kind of revenue. So I thought if you're open to it, we could talk a little bit about your experience. Not that we're going to say, hey, everybody open up your own travel agency, but more the mindset and the approaches and the methods you used. And then they can apply it to maybe some of the ideas that they're thinking of. And maybe that gives them the 1% push to move forward and get started with their own business. So thoughts on that?
Absolutely. No, I'm excited about this episode actually because and you have a lot to give as well with your experience in the mortgage business as well and other things that you do. So but yeah, for the travel agency, I'm not against spending money, but I do it if it's worth a high level of return. And that's why, like my what I spend money on is literally what you see, like hats, polo, things that I send to clients, like for New Year and things like that. But it's minimal. It's minimal. And there are a lot of ways to advertise your business and to get customers. But there are some keys that we're going to discuss during this episode. And I'm very excited to share everything transparent. I mean, I know, people who know me know that I'm very transparent. It's the same here. I believe there is enough business for everybody. So I'm not someone who try to hide secrets and then to hope that no one else start. I mean, if people want to start their own agency, you can contact me. I'm happy to put you in contact with people to do that, even if it doesn't bring me anything. I'm happy to do so because I'm not worried about the competition. I know I will always work my way to where I want to be, and competition or not. It's just my mentality. And the travel industry is an industry where people are usually very open and willing to help each other. So I have other agents who helped me a lot during definitely my first year. They didn't have to do that because they didn't gain anything from it, but they just do it because they're good people and they want to help. And we believe we have the same mindset. We believe that there's enough business for everybody, and we don't need to try to push someone down to go up yourself. And that's my mentality. So I'm excited to share all of that during this episode.
All right. Well, let's jump into it. But before we do, should we start with quotes and quips? Ooh, look at that. Back on track. Love it. All right. So this first quote comes from Guy Kawasaki, and he is an angel investor. And I'm trying to remember the book. I can't remember it, but he wrote a book about 10, 15 years ago about startups and everything. But anyway, well-known guy for those people, especially if you're a serial entrepreneur and you raise a lot of venture capital. But anyway, his quote is, focus on cash flow, not profitability. Cash is not only king, it's queen and prince too for bootstrapper. Thoughts on that quote?
Yeah, I love it. If you look at money every single time a client pay and look at, like the profit, well, you're going to limit yourself because you will not want to re-spend that profit into making it, better, like in training, in marketing, or anything like that. Even though here the whole goal is to save, and for the travel agency to not spend the money, but it's not because I don't want to, but I want to make sure that I invest more into my time and more into helping others, like the agent in this case for my agency, instead of trying to pay people to get a couple of customers. Once I understand all of it and I can find a good funnel strategy on social media, I would have absolutely no problem to pay the money. But I think in the present, I grow, like very, very well. So I don't feel like I have the need to just burn the steps. I believe that every steps are important, and I'm still learning. So that's a learning journey. So I agree with him. Just don't look into profit and have a cash flow going.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll actually share a story about what not to do. So when I first started my mortgage brokerage in Nevada, and I'm trying to remember, I think I was 25, something like that. I almost got a little bit of too much success too quickly. And so I had this revenue coming in, and I had this idea, why don't I build a website where people can submit their applications online and do all this? But this is like right at the beginning. This is like 2002. And so coding and website design, now it's easy. It's click, point. You can build a website in 15 minutes or less. Back then it was a little bit more. Anyway, long story short, I ended up paying like 12 grand for this website to be designed. And I remember, um, getting chastised because they're like, why are you spending this? And I had this vision of all these applications just coming in online and just surrounded, raining money, right? And all that. Not a single application did I get online. So that was 12 grand down the tube. So the importance about bootstrapping isn't necessarily to slow your growth. In my mind, it's more about the discipline, because when you have that discipline, your point about cash flow and stuff like that, then you can start investing in some of those things. But I got some success a little too quickly, got an influx of cash, and I'm like, I'm going to try to hit the home run, retire by the time I'm 30. It didn't work out. I'm still working, and I'm not 30. So anyway, lesson of what not to do. So bootstrapping, good way to do it, if for nothing else, builds discipline. All right, this next one is a quip from our friend Mark Cuban, former owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Shark Tank extraordinaire, and otherwise just jovial fellow. But his quip is, always look for the fool in the deal. If you don't find one, it's you.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's so true. I love it because I've been in those rooms, and some in beginning it was me, but then I start seeing who they are, because the more knowledge you get, the more you understand how things are going. You understand who are actually the people in the room who are doing the right thing and who are not. So here we can adapt. We can put this quip into what we discuss with the bootstrapping. If you spend the money to try to hit the home run, like you mentioned, and people in the room are being more careful and go more steady instead of trying to get rich quick, like we said. Well, the steady one are the one who will be quiet, but at the end of the day, they're the one who will gonna end up a lot higher, because they take the time to learn while performing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And yeah, there that slow and steady wins the race more often than not. It's like the parable of the hare and the tortoise, right? So, all right. Anyway, so let's jump in. So I'm going to throw one out right off the bat because it's kind of like a given. Referrals, right? Like letting people, friends, family know what you're doing. When you do get clients asking for referrals, that's actually was the most effective way when I ran my mortgage business. I would say about 85% of the revenue I was getting was coming from referrals for my own personal self. And my referral money actually exceeded the revenue I was getting from the loan officers who worked for me. So the referral networking, probably the highest ROI you can ever expect to get. But it takes some time, to do that. Unless you have an already big network already, it's going to take a little bit of time. But referrals, definitely a good one. But you've used some various creative ways and consistent ways that has caused you to get people to call off of different areas that you didn't even know you were featured on. So maybe you can chat a little bit about your experience with social media.
Absolutely. So social media, like it or not, I was not the biggest fan in the past, neither, but this is a gold mine. And you don't need to spend money in social media to actually get something out of it. But there are a couple of things that needs to be done. First, you need to share, and share consistently. Like I see some people, I will use the travel industry as an example because that's the one I know the best right now. I see some travel agent who are not part of my agency, new travel agent. So I know people, like I have a few people on my Facebook, and I see like someone, oh, I'm no travel agent. I'm excited to help you guys, blah, blah. I see 2-3 posts the first week, and then I don't see a post anymore. And then guess what? I see like a few months later that they're not doing it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk to them after, that person I talked to and said, oh, it didn't work for me. No, you didn't work for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
It works. You didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big difference. I remember when I started, I created that business page, like Nick Mornard. At the time, it was Nick Mornard with Dream Vacations. There was no associates. And so I created that and I started inviting people. A very, very small amount of people actually followed me, which is fine. And I was posting 3-4 times a day. At first, I was posting it myself. So it's tons of time. It's very time consuming. Then I just start, looking at option to utilize like an automation system that was $10 a month. So I start using that system. Then I found another one who was free, and then I used that. I was just doing Facebook. Then I started doing Instagram. Instagram is not well built, to be honest, but Facebook is. Then in LinkedIn, X, and TikTok. And I start posting daily on all platforms. I get 1 like, 0 like, 2 like, 3 likes. This is an all-time high. And literally, I'm pretty sure some people laugh about it when they say, oh my God, this guy is keep posting and he get no reaction. And the first 6 months, I got like a handful of private message with question. Guess what? I didn't stop. I kept going. That's where things change after 6 months of doing that and having like 200-300 followers. That's where I start getting people. Oh, you were keep doing this because it's been a while that I see you doing this. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm growing, slowly but steadily, but steadily. And then I just start receiving more and more private message. Hey Nick, my family wants to do that. Can you help? Hey Nick, I heard this. Can you help? I'm trying to book a cruise. Would it be interesting or not to go with you? So I always share the truth, like as a travel agent with my agency, the price you see online is the price I will have. In some case, I would be able to beat the price, but you will never pay more. So it's just the case. So I start getting like more and more. Every single time someone go on vacation, I put in my calendar the day that they come back. All right. Not only the day of their final payment, to not forget to remind them about the final payment, but also the day they come back. When they come back, send a little message. Hey, John, I'm super excited to learn about your experience with XYZ. Please tell me more about your experience, or what did you like the best, or something like that. I change a little bit based on the kind of vacation. Then the person reply, positive or negative. 99% of the time is very positive. Great. Well, it would mean a lot if you can leave a review on Google My Business. That would mean a lot. And then I send the link. I will not bother that person about that ever again. And I send it 1 time. And usually they said, yeah, sure, we'll do. 20% of the time they do. And it's not bad will. I'm sure they're busy in their day and then they forget about it and the day passed and they don't think about it, which is fine. No hard feelings. But I make sure to connect with each person who contact me in the past, or if they subscribe to my mailing, I send 3 emails per week to every single client that I had about offers, options based on what they did and what they liked. So it's a little bit of work, building that. But no, it's natural. It's automatic. Everything is automated because internet now we can automate everything for free. And so that's basically something that I built. But the problem I see with most people, associates, owner, any kind of business, is that people get excited when they start something, but the excitement dropped drastically because they expect return immediately. Do not do that. Do not do that mistake. Consistency wins always. If you do the right thing, you a strong customer service, consistency will bring you wherever you want to be. It may not be as fast as you want to, but build it. Now, guess what? I have 5 to 10 likes per post. So it's not great. I have 880 or something followers on Facebook, but I get every day between 4 and 6 private message with request, and it's coming from my group, the people who see me constantly, and the referrals, like you mentioned, because I keep relationship with the people that work with me. All right. So first I get business back, because it's not like mortgage when you do 1, maybe 2, 3 mortgage if you're lucky during a lifespan of a client. Here you get like some client multi times a year, but at least once a year. So they come back to you. So that's the easy part. Like every business, beginning is the most difficult. You start with 0, but then you start building that pipeline that's automatically coming. And then people start, every time that someone posts about I need a travel agent, I see clients who are just responding, oh, Nick did a great job with me, blah, blah, blah. And I get like people commenting and coming to my private page, asking me for recommendation and things like that. So this is because of the brand I built. But again, if you want to build a brand is built with consistency and with long vision, not short-term vision. And if you do that, you win. So this is the number one tip that I would have to give. It doesn't cost you nothing, because Facebook allows you to do that for nothing. Same with the other platforms. Now you can pay to have client coming in and stuff, but I did not do that yet.
Right. And I think you mentioned about the consistency of social media and being regular with the posts and doing offers or just different things. But I remember you telling the story about how you were going on vacation and you would post things on social media and you'd have people like asking you about it. And that was one of the impetus to get you started with the travel agency. So even if you're not sure about, well, I don't know what deals I can put out there for whatever business you're looking to do or things like that, if you're doing something personally and it's related to that business, post that as well. And that's a way to generate interest.
Yeah. So a secret, it's not a secret, of most successful agencies that I'm part of from Dream Vacation, who shared with me when I started. I said, what should I be doing to get clients? Of course, social media, referral, joining networking groups, and all of that. Of course, that's a given. The Chamber of Commerce, BLB, whatever, all these networking groups. But he said, I remember, number one agency 3 years ago when I started, he told me, Nick, the more you travel, the more money you will make. And at first, I'm like, yeah, right. But it is so true, because people relate with what you do. And so every time I go on vacation, that's why I go more and more. Every time I go on vacation, I post my days. I post, experiences. I get flooded by message, private message. Like, hey, Nick, I want to experience this one, or something completely nothing to do with it, but that reminds them by seeing that, oh my God, I need to plan my vacation. And he said, Nick, we need to talk. I want to go to Ireland, to Japan, New Zealand, safari, whatever it is, because of my post. So usually when I come back from a cruise or from a trip, left and right, I have like a huge amount of work to do. I always work, even on vacation. I work a couple of hours a day, or 4 hours a day in the morning before starting my day. But when I come back, I'm just overwhelmed, because I need to send so many like quotes and then follow up. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But very, very important to know, definitely in this industry, people see what you do and they want to do the same, because they want to experience what you experience and they want to have the lifestyle you have. And now, don't get me wrong, it's work, because people see me, oh, you have a great life. That's what I keep hearing. And it doesn't bother me, but I'm like, dude, if you knew how much, when I travel with you, every time we are eating the hotel, my laptop is open and I'm just grinding until we need to go back out. And it's literally, I used to never do that. I used to just lay on and watch TV. Now it's computer and it's just a choice,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to do that because I want to build something, and I'm not satisfied where I'm at. And
Mm-hmm.
that's literally the mindset you need to have in any industry. But yeah, that's true. I travel a lot and I show lifestyle, but behind the scene, there's a lot of work. Even while on vacation, I'm always on the computer on my phone answering things, and that's just the way it is. That's the
Mm-hmm.
nature of the business, because I don't have like a team at home, that I pay, like employee that I pay full time to take care of all of that when I'm not there.
Right.
So I'm the one who's doing it.
Yeah. No, no, no. I know. Witnessed it firsthand. So, we talked about the power of social media, and that is a very cost effective way to do it. The key is really consistency and things like that. There's obviously things like you can do direct mail, you can hire companies to do advertising for you. But again, I think, talking in terms of bootstrapping, it's like that's going to require you to spend money
Mm-hmm.
to make money. But another thing that I know you've done that has been very successful in building your business is joining networking groups. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I joined a couple of networking groups. It's important. I mean, if you stay home in your sofa in your recliner, which I love to be in my recliner, but if you are nonstop in your recliner, other than social media, nobody can really, interact with you,
Mhm.
So it's important. So I have a networking group here in Babcock where I go, and I meet other entrepreneur, and we discuss about way to help each other, and then we do referrals, like we mentioned, is a referral group. All
Mhm.
right. So we do that. I have another one in Cape Coral when we do activities together. Like we try to be involved in the community, but it's more about let's exchange referrals when we have them. Something like my business, everybody travel.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's easier than other kind of business where they were very niche. It's harder, but for me, who more people know that I exist and that I can do something with no extra fee. I mean, I get paid. So when people say, well, that guy said that he's doing for free, I never say I do anything for free. I
Mhm.
don't have additional fee. That's very different. And so yeah, so it's important to be seen, and and so people see how you act or you interact, like then they become client themselves, then they see the quality of the customer service, the quality of the itineraries, and then they can compare pricing, and they will see that it's very fair.
Mhm.
And so yeah, so that's extremely important to join those. I'm not big on, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work, but I'm not big on the Chamber of Commerce, on the BNR, and all of that, because that require, again, a lot of investment. Even I can do it now with the money that comes in from the business, but I think it's they're more intense. Every week you need to be there for an hour and a half, and then you need to spend like a $1,500 a year to join the BNR, and then they expect you to be on all their event and stuff. I may have a business to run. I don't have time to do that, and usually it's more a money grab for me, and I never had success with that back in Europe.
Mhm.
And so I'm not interested to join them. Doesn't mean that you don't have to. Same with Chamber of Commerce, but it's just a decision that I have right now. Maybe one day it's going to change, but so far that's not something that I do personally.
Mhm.
But again, if you want to join, it's never bad, but it's money involved. And
Mhm.
so all the thing that I mentioned is no money, or $50 a year just for to be on the website and stuff like that. But it's no heavy money
Mhm.
that needs to be spent to join those. And then finally, the not finally, but one big one is the follow up. The
Mhm.
secret of success in follow up. I know it's a catchphrase, but it's so true. I mean, more than 50% of my sale are after the third follow up. It's
Right.
literally the case. Like I have a way to follow up. So I follow up within 3-4 days for every single thing I send. Then I follow up after 4 or 5 days after that. So I have like a system that I follow up automatically. And then I follow back up again 2 weeks later.
Mhm.
And then I said, okay, it's the last follow up, but still a month, 2 months later, I say hi.
Mhm.
And at that time, I got people 6 months later that book a 15 of $16,000 trip. Well, after 6 months later, I follow up out of the blue. I said, "Oh my God, yeah, I'm sorry. Back in the day, I was it was a lot happened in my life, and I forgot about it. I'm sorry, I didn't reply. You know what? You contact me in the right time. I need to freaking do it. Otherwise, I will never do it. Send me what you need from me, and then I'm doing it. Sure." So it's just a follow up out of the blue. Does it happen every time? No.
Right.
But that email took me 5 seconds to send and brought me a $15,000 sale.
There you go. That's
It's
some
so worth
ROI.
it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. But
Yeah.
again, I see so many times people sending one thing and then forget about it.
Yeah.
People have life. Yeah, that email is lost in transition, or they maybe, forget to think about it, and then the week after they completely lost. And when they remember again, they will contact someone else because they forgot who they contact. Because you are not, don't take it personally, your ego will be hurt. You are not top of mind of your client.
What?
You are part of the hundreds of people they talk to every day. So they will appreciate that. And I have even a client who came back a few weeks ago who literally told me, you took great care of me a year ago for me and my wife. We end up not doing it. But we remembered you, and now we want to go to Europe with our kids. So 4 of them, boom, booking it. I mean, again, if you do the right thing, not all of them will end up in a sale, and it's okay. Just do the right thing. Wish them the best of the best of whatever they're going through or whatever. If they decide to go another way, you said, well, I wish you a great vacation. I'm pretty sure it's going to be unforgettable. If you think about another one in the future, think about me. I always end up like that. Maybe I will never hear back from it, but instead of being like but hurt and said, okay, like I see some people, okay, bye, no, then you never hear back from them. By doing the right thing, you may hear them back. So it's just detail, but it's so important to follow up. Like I cannot emphasize it enough.
Yeah, and I think you touched on earlier about the power of automation when you're talking about social media. Well, when you have prospects and they don't turn into clients, you have their information as part of the database, and you have those regular touch systems, and that's a way to stay in front of them, because just like you said, you never know. It could be just a timing thing. But if you get caught up in your ego and you're like, oh, forget them, I wasted time and do that, well, then you're guaranteed never to make them a client. But if you can put it into some sort of tickler system or touch system to follow up, the probability is higher.
A fun example, that's the extreme, but the fun example I have is a lady who contacted me from Estero Road, so it's Southwest Florida. And I spent time back and forth, and it was for something cheap. But I spent time back and forth to try to help her get to the price. We didn't find a solution at the end, but she was like apologetic. Oh, I'm very sorry. I know you spent a lot of time. I'm like, it's okay. Maybe one day it's gonna work. And I was just normal. I'm not extreme. I was just like professional. That person tagged me on social media now. Every time she sees something about travel agent, I get tagged by that lady who never closed with me, but she felt bad that I had a lot of back and forth to try to help her close on a cheap, really cheap cruise. But she's now like all about trying to help me and say the right thing. Nick is amazing. He helped me so much. Well, I don't know that she didn't close.
Yeah, right.
But again, I appreciate that, because it costs nothing to say some positive things on social media. Unfortunately, people like to bash people. I mean, it's just the nature of some human being, I guess. Me, if I don't want to say anything, I just scroll, But people like to just stick it in. But yeah, I think also the more you refer, the more you get referred. So if you have a good experience with a small business, refer people. People will think of you also because they know that you refer them based on the job they did. So they will want to refer you back based on the job you did with them. So it's all about don't expect, and not do nothing in return. If you have an experience with that business, just share it.
Yeah. And I think so really good ideas there. A few other bootstrapping, just to plant some seeds. Again, we're sharing some of these things so that for some of you winners who may be considering to start a business or build a business on the side, and you haven't started because you're worried about money, we already shared some ways in which you can do it that doesn't require much, if anything, in terms of money to get started. The other one was one that I did when I had the mortgage business, is find strategic partnerships. And the one that I did is I worked, so I had a mortgage brokerage, and then I became an agent for a financial services company who was selling life insurance and other investments and things like that. And I had passed my Series 6 and 63 so that I could put my name on the application, but it was more of an intricate referral system, because if they had people that needed mortgages, they became loan officers. They were certified to work in my agency. I became past the exam so I could work in theirs. and it was another way to earn revenue. And the ROI was massive on that because I think I spent $150 on the exam and course materials in order to pass it, and made a lot more multiples of $150 with that arrangement. So think of strategic partnerships, you know, and it's a little slightly different than the networking, but it's along that same kind of theme on that. And then maybe one of the last things I'll touch on was one of the first things you mentioned, like with your apparel. And so you think of things like business cards, like people are like business cards with LinkedIn. It's still, we were at Podfest in January and we met a gentleman who had probably the most intricate business card I've ever seen. And it's still burned an image in my head about that. People still ask, you know, for business cards so you can have that. But how many times have you walked around with Nick Menard with Dream Vacations owner and people stop and ask you questions about that? I've seen it. I've been with you when it's happened.
Yeah, absolutely. That is. I mean, I had Dream Vacation before without owner. Never got something. I had owner. People ask, okay, what's your business? People think it's a timeshare a lot of time. I don't know why, but I mean, I know why, because there's one with timeshare, same name. But yeah. So I explained, you know, and then okay, well, you know, maybe we need to do a cruise. You remember we were in Miami in Hard Rock, and then the guy with the lady like said, "Oh my God, you have a card because we need to schedule a cruise." And those kind of things happen with just that. Instead of having a hat of whatever, like advertising someone else, advertise your own business. It doesn't mean that I never wear my Texas Longhorns hat when it's football season and things like that. But when I go out, I usually have a 1% push hat or a Dream Vacation hat, because those are the two business that I want to advertise. And so that's what I wear, because it's not free, but it's free marketing when you wear it. You know, like, and you never know who sees it. In the back, I have the website. So people ask, I'm saying, "Oh my God, the website, I just take notes and I will check it out." All right. You know, that's the goal, you know, to have some people, you know, curious about what it is. So I would say that. And to close, for under $700 for one-time fee, you can become a travel agent in an agency and have access to everything, have your own website, AI website, your own email address, your own everything, and have access to everything I have access as an owner. So that's pretty much the only investment you need. After that, if you want to do more, it's your own choice, but it's literally all it's needed to start and to be licensed and have all the training and the contact for all the vendors across the world.
There you go. So hopefully you have some ideas you take away from this, or they spur creative ideas on your end of how you can start building a business by bootstrapping. Don't need a ton of money. In fact, sometimes that can be more of a curse than a blessing. Like in my experience, it came too quick and I probably wasted, well, I did waste 12 grand. So, learn from that and be lean, mean, and use the tools that are available, which are a multitude, in order to free or very low investment that offers an amazingly high ROI. So that'll do it for this Monday Mindset Winners. Hope you enjoyed it. Please, again, share, subscribe, and follow 2 for the Win on your favorite platform. And thanks again to nickmenard.com and the 1% Push and his Amazon best-selling book, Mindset is My Degree, for sponsoring today's episode. We will see you next Monday. Take care.
Bye, winners.